That evening, following dinner, I experienced hot sweats cascading down my back. I chose to step into the shower, seeking a moment of solace to uplift my spirits. The bathroom, though modest in size, enveloped me in a cocoon of warmth as the water cascaded over my skin, imparting a sense of soothing tranquility. Once I emerged from the shower, I slipped into a soft beige V-neck dress, featuring a long zipper at the back, an ensemble I often don for the comfort of home. I entered the bedroom to don it. As I grasped the zipper and attempted to draw it upward, I found it ensnared in the middle, resisting my every effort to free it. As I surveyed my surroundings, a sense of confusion washed over me, prompting me to reach out to my husband. I sought assistance, yet upon stepping into the living room, I found the soft glow of the dim light illuminating the space. In that moment, it was solely my father-in-law who occupied the chair. Upon hearing my footsteps, he glanced up, a hint of surprise flickering across his face. "Where is your husband, father? Is there an issue at hand?" With a hint of uncertainty, John stepped outside, likely to procure a few items. "Is something amiss?" His voice carried a serene quality. I pressed my lips together, a subtle gesture of restraint. In this circumstance, there existed no alternative. I stumbled over my words. My skirt zipper seems to be stuck. Would you be able to assist me?" Upon hearing that, he set his teak down on the table, rose to his feet, and approached with purpose. "Allow me a moment to observe." As he positioned himself directly behind me, the proximity between us became palpable. His breath brushed softly against the nape of my neck, stirring a flutter of nerves within me. He delicately grasped the zipper, a hint of a frown crossing his face. "It appears to be ensnared in the fabric," he remarked, his hand beginning to tug at it. A faint click echoed in the silence, and then the world spiraled into chaos in an instant. The zipper descended with a decisive motion, and in a heartbeat, the luxurious silk skirt pulled around my ankles. I remained there, paralyzed in place. In that fleeting instant, it seemed as though time itself had come to a standstill. The wind swept through the window, sending a chill across my skin. "Hello, everyone. My name is Jean, and I am 28 years of age. For 3 years now, I have shared my life with John as his wife. On the surface, our married life appears flawless. A charming residence, a secure position, and a sound financial standing. John is a devoted, family man, always showing his love and commitment to me. I take great pride in my evolving career, a space where I can showcase my talents and discover joy in the work I engage in each day. Our household includes my father-in-law, Mr. John, a gentleman in his late 60s, exudes strength and tranquility. He is a man of exemplary character, whom I hold in the highest regard. He embodies not just the role of a father within the family, but also that of a mediator. In the moments when John and I found ourselves at odds, the heart of our discord often centered on the topic of having children. John yearns for a fuller family, filled with the joyous sounds of children's laughter. Yet I find myself unprepared for such a change. I wish to dedicate some time to my career and pursue my personal aspirations before pausing to embrace motherhood. Consequently, this tale sparked enduring debates. Yet those arguments never lessened the bond we shared. With unwavering patience, John engaged in persuasion, while I endeavored to clarify my thoughts. Following each debate, my father-in-law gracefully intervened, offering his counsel. He consistently highlighted that family revolves around mutual understanding. All challenges can be unraveled gradually, thanks to his influence. John and I had an innate understanding of how to truly listen and yield to one another. I once believed that our lives would continue on in a seamless manner, but one evening, everything shifted dramatically. That day unfolded with the same relentless pace as any other. As dawn broke, I rose earlier than my usual hour to craft a hearty breakfast for the entire family. John preferred a modest breakfast, typically consisting of a slice of toast accompanied by a cup of black coffee. To commence the day, I treated myself to a comforting glass of warm milk. Every morning, my father-in-law, Mr. John, maintained his cherished ritual of perusing the newspaper, a steaming cup of tea cradled in his hands. The atmosphere within the home exudes tranquility, warmth, and is suffused with delightful scents wafting from the kitchen. Following breakfast, I swiftly prepared myself to head to work. While my office job lacked significant stress, it demanded a considerable degree of focus. Adorned in a crisp white shirt and tailored trousers, I slipped into delicate high heels that elevated my confidence to new heights. As I made my way to the office, I paused at a quaint coffee shop to indulge in yet another cup of latte. In a bid to treat myself before facing a demanding day, the office buzzed with an unusual level of activity. The series of meetings afforded me nearly no opportunity for respite. I endeavored to manage every email, every report, and to fulfill the tasks within the designated time frame. Yet, I maintained a hopeful outlook, fully aware that this role was not merely a duty, but also the embodiment of my passion as the clock chimed 5 p.m. I gathered my papers and departed from the company. As I stepped onto the street, the soft afternoon sunlight enveloped me, offering a sense of solace. After a long, demanding day at the office, I visited the local supermarket to procure some fresh provisions. Today, I aspire to prepare a dinner that surpasses the ordinary, as it has been far too long since our family gathered to share a meal in a relaxed manner. Upon arriving home, I made my way swiftly to the kitchen. John had only just come back. With a warm smile, he assisted me in arranging the table. On the table, a steaming bowl of chicken soup, a beautifully grilled salmon fillet, and a vibrant array of fragrant stir-fried vegetables awaited. Each dish a testament to culinary artistry. With a satisfied smile, my father-in-law emerged from the study, his eyes lighting up at the sight of dinner. We came together, sharing stories and laughter. Over the meal, even with the occasional disagreements regarding the prospect of children, family meals remain the most cherished moments in my life. Little did I know that the tranquil dinner would soon be overshadowed by an unforeseen occurrence that would alter the course of everything. Following dinner, a sense of stuffiness enveloped me, prompting a visit to the bathroom. The cool water eased the tension in my body after the shower. I selected a cream-hued silk dress, my cherished garment, featuring a zipper at the back. As I faced the mirror, preparing to zip it up, I realized the zipper had become ensnared. Halted at the midpoint, I struggled to find the right grip, yet the zipper remained stubbornly uncooperative. I stepped into the living room, ready to seek John's assistance, only to find the space devoid of his presence. I turned and shouted, "John, where are you?" Silence lingered in the air, unbroken and heavy. My father-in-law, engrossed in his reading from the comfort of his chair, lifted his gaze. John stepped outside for a short while. "Hello there." After a moment of uncertainty, I finally spoke up, saying, my dress zipper is stuck. I'm unable to access it. Could you lend me a hand?" He set the book aside and rose to his feet. "Allow me a moment to observe." He moved nearer, his eyes steady and composed. I averted my gaze, lowering my head to grant him better access to the zipper. His hand, resolute and powerful, brushed against the zipper. It appeared ensnared within the fabric, he remarked, attempting to lift it. Yet as he exerted pressure, the zipper glided away with a soft swish. The delicate fabric cascaded down, leaving me motionless in its wake. Confusion enveloped us both. I found myself frozen, unsure of how to respond. As if I were a statue, unmoving and silent, he swiftly averted his gaze, his voice heavy with remorse. "I apologize. I never intended to." With a sense of urgency, I grasped the dress, my hands quaking as I draped it over my form. "It's all right, Dad. My dress simply hangs a bit too loosely," I whispered. My gaze fixed firmly on the ground, he stepped back, striving to maintain his poise. "Take matters into your own hands. Let John return and seek his assistance." Then he pivoted and exited swiftly, leaving me solitary in the room. The air hung heavy and oppressive, creating a sense of unease. My heart raced, a tumultuous blend of embarrassment and confusion swirling within me. That evening, my mind wandered, aimlessly, unable to focus on anything at all. Each recollection of Mr. John's remorseful gaze weighed upon me more profoundly. His thoughts remained a mystery to me, deepening my concern. John returned home in the late hours, seemingly unaware of the events that had transpired. He continued to smile and engage in cheerful conversation. Oblivious to my underlying restlessness, I endeavored to maintain a facade of normalcy, yet an overwhelming sense of confusion lingered within me. In the days that followed that incident, a sense of ennui enveloped me, and I couldn't help but observe that Mr. John appeared to have transformed. He ceased to engage with me as effortlessly as he once did, consistently evading my gaze whenever our paths crossed within the confines of the house. This left me feeling unsettled, yet I found myself at a loss for how to initiate a conversation to dispel the tension. Yet there were moments when I inadvertently found him gazing at me, his eyes probing for something elusive. In those moments, I swiftly averted my gaze, striving to maintain my composure. Yet my heart was a tempest of emotions. His thoughts were a mystery to me. Deepening my unease, I reassured myself that all would eventually fade, that time would mend these unseen fractures. Yet I was mistaken. That morning, weariness enveloped me. My throat ached, and my head swirled in disarray. Upon measuring my temperature, it became clear that I was experiencing a slight fever. John departed from home at dawn, heading to his workplace, while I chose to indulge in a day of rest. My father-in-law remained at home. Yet, as was his custom, he occupied himself in the study, immersed in books and newspapers, or engaged in his own pursuits. After an extended period of restlessness in bed, overwhelmed by fatigue, I found myself unable to do anything but attempt to drift off. However, the stifling heat of the room compelled me to seek refuge in the living room, in search of a breath of cool air. Clad in unadorned pajamas, my hair fell freely around me, and my complexion bore the ghostly pallor of fever. As I stepped into the living room, my gaze fell upon Mr. Jan, who was perched on the chair, his eyes fixed with unwavering focus on the glow of his phone screen. I greeted him gently, yet he remained silent. He lifted his gaze to meet mine. His eyes had transformed, shedding their familiar calmness that I had come to know. "Are you unwell?" he inquired, his voice resonating with an unusual depth. "Indeed, I find myself with a slight fever. Thus I shall be taking the day off," I responded, making an effort to maintain a composed demeanor. He remained silent, merely nodding, yet his gaze lingered on me, as if probing for something within. My demeanor, that sensation stirred an inexplicable unease within me. Just as I was on the verge of stepping outside to escape the palpable tension, I heard his voice calling me back as I turned around. "John, please come over. I have something to share with you." I came to a halt. A peculiar sensation gripped my heart tightly. Mr. Jan rose to his feet, his gaze brimming with resolve, locking onto mine. The atmosphere in the room thickened. My heart raced, and my palms glistened with sweat. "Jean, you are so beautiful," he said, his voice low and echoing in the stillness. I stood frozen, as if my legs had surrendered their strength entirely. A chill enveloped my entire being. Every word he spoke pierced my heart like a sharp blade. "Father, could you clarify what you mean?" I inquired, my voice quavering and thick with emotion, yet he remained silent for a moment. He advanced, each movement intensifying the sensation that the very air around me was contracting. His gaze locked onto mine, unwavering and intense, refusing to falter for even a moment. "Jean," he murmured, his voice gentle yet laden with urgency, "can you allow me the chance to see you once more?" I remained rooted in place, unable to fathom the words that had just reached my ears. My eyes widened, gazing at him in search of a hint that he was jesting. Yet he remained serious. His expression bore such gravity that it rendered me utterly speechless. I almost shouted, struggling to maintain my composure. "What compels you to utter such words? Do you not feel a twinge of sympathy for John?" He hesitated, a furrow of bewilderment creasing his brow, yet his eyes remained fixed on me. "John, I'm not sure what transpired within me," he murmured, his voice trailing off. "Ever since that moment, you have occupied my thoughts incessantly." I took a step back, striving to maintain my distance. "Your statement is quite misguided. This family bond is being shattered by your actions. I am your daughter-in-law. I'm aware," he interjected, his tone rising momentarily before it gently eased. "I understand, but this sensation is beyond my control, Dad." I cry out, my voice trembling, my eyes burning with unshed tears. "I've reached my limit. I no longer wish to listen. I find it difficult to comprehend how you could express such sentiments. It's hard to fathom." Mr. John remained motionless, his gaze cast downward, as though engaged in a silent battle against an unseen force within. The atmosphere in the room felt thick and stifling. After a prolonged pause, he exhaled deeply, his shoulders drooping in resignation. His voice, though soft, quivered with uncertainty. "Jean, I can't fathom why things have unfolded this way. I can no longer deceive myself." Confusion enveloped me, panic surging in relentless waves. Yet my legs remained anchored, immobilized and unyielding. He advanced, each movement deliberate, imbued with an undeniable tension. His gaze locked onto mine, brimming with turmoil and an indescribable sorrow. I took a step back, only to find the small table behind me, obstructing my path, trapping me with no means of escape. "I understand that this is not right," he said, his voice lowering yet remaining distinct. "But this emotion terrifies me. I have no desire to cause you pain, yet I find it impossible to stop thinking about you." My heart raced violently, as if it might burst from my chest at any moment. "Father, are you aware of the words you are uttering? This is not something we can accomplish. This is incorrect. It will bring about the downfall of all that we hold dear." I let out a cry, my voice trembling with raw feeling. He halted before me, his gaze brimming with anguish. "I understand, John. I truly do. But I also recognize that returning is not an option for me. The sensation resonates within you as well." "Oh, really?" His question pierced my thoughts like a sharp blade, leaving a profound impact. My mind fought against the truth, yet my body stubbornly refused to obey. "The realm of my thoughts," his eyes implored, not through force, but with an essence of helplessness and fragility. A sense of disorientation enveloped me, as the room seemed to dissolve into a haze, the cacophony of sounds fading into an eerie silence. As he advanced, the distance that separated us dwindled to a mere whisper, I stood my ground. In a fleeting moment, every unseen barrier dissolved, leaving only the aftermath of what had transpired. My hands trembled with an unrelenting intensity. As I settled into the chair, my heart raced, not from the thrill of battle, but from the grip of fear. It was beyond my comprehension, the events that had just unfolded. Mr. Jin stood before me, his eyes brimming with disbelief. "John," he started, but his voice faltered, thick with emotion. "No," I said, my voice quivering with emotion. "Refrain from speaking. Refrain from adding further comments." I rose to my feet, a sense of weakness coursing through my legs, and made an effort to hasten toward the door. As my fingers brushed against the doorknob, he spoke once more, his voice heavy with anguish. "Oh, I sincerely apologize." I apologize for not turning around. As I slipped out of the room, tears cascaded down my cheeks, a torrent of guilt and confusion engulfing me. I found myself at a loss, unsure of how to face both myself and Jean. In the aftermath of that fateful night, resting in bed, sleep eluded me, while a cascade of images, emotions, and thoughts swirled relentlessly in my mind. I found myself pondering the course of events that had unfolded up to this point. How shall we face the truth from this point onward? I found myself without an answer, and perhaps Jean was in the same predicament. In the days that ensued, I found myself enveloped in relentless torment. The idea of confiding in Jean weighed heavily on my thoughts, yet each time I contemplated it, a sense of helplessness washed over me. I understood that if Jean discovered the truth, the bond between him and my father would be irrevocably altered. The cherished connection between father and son would be irrevocably broken. I endeavored to contain my emotions, stifling the pain and guilt within, yet this only deepened my sense of entrapment. It dawned on me that my only course of action was to depart. It was the sole path to prevent further deterioration and safeguard this family from disintegration. I started to formulate my plans, all the while striving to keep a bright facade, as though all was well in the world. I wished for John to remain oblivious to the turmoil within me until I could muster the bravery to confess that my deepest desire each day was simply to prepare breakfast, tidy up the home, and wear a smile that masked the truth. Yet I had reached my conclusion. As the sun dipped below the horizon and the aroma of dinner lingered in the air, the family convened in the cozy embrace of the living room, and I patiently awaited my moment. "Jean," I murmured gently, striving to keep my poise intact. "Have a revelation to share with you." Jean lifted his gaze to meet mine, his eyes filled with a mix of worry and curiosity. "What seems to be the issue? Is something amiss?" I inhaled deeply, seeking to steady my racing thoughts. "It seems to me that a change of scenery is in order. A fresh beginning awaits us in a new place. I believe it would be beneficial for us both." John stood still, his brow knitted in concentration. "What has prompted this sudden desire to pursue that? We have been managing quite well. Is there an issue at hand?" A frown creased my brow at the sight of him. "There is no cause for concern. I felt it was necessary for us to have some distance, and now I believe it's time for me to go." Jean rested his hand on my shoulder, his tone turning earnest as he spoke. "Jean, I sense that something is amiss. You need not conceal it from me. Before I reply, please share what the issue is." Mr. Jean made his way down the stairs, having caught every word of the conversation that unfolded. "Jean is correct." Jean spoke in a quiet yet resolute tone. "I think it would be best for both of you to find a new place to live. You and Jean require some distance to carve out your own paths. I have no desire to hold you both here indefinitely." Jean regarded him with astonishment. But Father, I cannot bear the thought of parting from you. I hold on to the hope that we can continue to share a joyful life together." Mr. Jean offered a warm smile and gently patted Jean's shoulder. "No need to concern yourself with my well-being. I am well. It is essential for you and Jean to determine the most suitable path for your futures." Jean held his silence for what felt like an eternity, and then, gradually, his eyes began to soften. At last, he gave a nod of agreement. "Text. If you say so, Dad, I concur. Yet I shall still make my way there. I often find myself in your presence." I remained silent, my head bowed, a mix of sorrow and relief washing over me. It became clear to me why Mr. Jean extended his assistance. He sought to make amends, striving to hold the family together. As darkness enveloped the world outside, I found myself in my room, gazing out the window, a profound sense of emptiness washing over me. Though I was certain that departing was the correct choice, the ache and remorse trailed me relentlessly, no matter where I turned. An invaluable lesson emerged from my narrative. Each error originates from a seemingly minor line being stepped over. A fleeting lapse in attention or a moment of vulnerability can lead to unforeseen repercussions. None among us are without flaw, yet it is essential to acknowledge, face, and amend our errors. Treasure your connections, particularly those with your family. Family transcends the mere concept of a dwelling. It is equally a duty to maintain. A single misstep has the power to unravel all that we have painstakingly constructed through the years. Exercise caution, establish your boundaries, and refrain from allowing your emotions to overwhelm you. Should you find yourself in a comparable circumstance, my counsel is to pursue the course of action that inflicts the least harm upon all involved. Departing is not always feasible, yet the most effective means of safeguarding those you cherish lies in the art of release. This act not only liberates you but also enables you to preserve the cherished values you wish to uphold. I departed the house, carrying with me a weight of sorrow intertwined with deep insights. Life unfolds as an extensive journey, and I vowed to myself that I would never stray from my path again. This is where my tale concludes. The experience imparted the most significant lesson of my life, the significance of kinship and duty. I appreciate your attention, and I trust that this tale will guide you in steering clear of comparable missteps.